Man is in the house. Wow, wow, wow. Wow, wow, wow.
See, what throws me off is like y'all want me to call these people by like their stage name. Like, I get it, Martin called him Hustle Man, but that was just something that Martin called him. Like he called Bruh Man. He called Angry Man, Angry Man. Like, that was just Hustle Man. But like, I know him as Courtney. You feel me? I know him as Courtney Gibbs, from 7 Mile, Eastside. That's where I know him from. But for the sake of this video, whatever. Hustle Man, right? Because that's what y'all know him as. Whatever, right? Hustle Man. Randumb Rants from Martin. Like and subscribe, man. And I mean, y'all know we starting from the beginning. So I mean, Courtney, he coming straight out of the east side of Detroit. Always was about $1. Get money type dude. Went to Southfield High School. Good dudes. Actually, and a lot of y'all don't know this. I'm not even supposed to say this, to be honest, but he's actually the late Blade Icewood's uncle on the low. And if y'all not familiar with that, I can't. My Detroit men told me personally, do not speak on that. So I can't even touch on that with the whole Icewood thing. But nonetheless, yeah, Blade, that's his, that's his uncle. Nonetheless, though, right? Courtney, good dude. I mean, he a Detroit player. Furs and the Gators. He dropped out of high school because he was trying to get some money, man. Courtney out here selling hard. And when I say he's BMF affiliated, no, he's not on that level where he could, holler at Meech. You get what I'm trying to say? But nonetheless, Meech, product has touched his hands, down the ladder, let's just say, So I mean, hard. He out here cranking them. And I mean, this is during that era. And unfortunately, it was a deal. The deal went bad. And he witnessed, his best friend Reggie, fortunately, he got hit with the pump, basically, And it changed his life. And I mean, right after that, Courtney ended up going to jail, petty charges. And that's why you don't really see him on the earlier seasons of Martin, because he was just getting out and getting back on his feet. He used to, do that. But when he was incarcerated, he was like, I'm only going to hustle, legal, legit products. Like, I don't care if it's a sandwich. I don't care what it is, I'm gonna go to mom's, we're gonna cook up something. I'm gonna just do whatever. I'm gonna just hustle, whatever I gotta do. He from the east side of Detroit. They all about $1 over there, 7 Mile, And I mean, that leads us to the show, when you guys are introduced to him, because clearly I already knew him, right? Obviously. So yeah, so you guys remember, what was it, season 3, like episode 10? They're trying to figure out what Tommy does for a living, even though, and you guys watched the Tommy episode hopefully by now, it was already said prior to this episode, right? Nonetheless, the episode starts off, and it's a knock at the door. And you guys are introduced to Hustle Man. He's delivering a pizza. Martin, of course, he's like, I'm cool, man. Like, I didn't even order a pizza. Like, who are you? He like, what's up, G? What's up, Chief? I got these pieces. Because he trying to make an honest hustle. Like I said, he used to push poison, but he got these pieces. You feel me? And he tell Martin, like, well, how much he said? I think he sold it to Tommy for like, Tommy, he was like, you cool. So for you, I think I got there $15. I think he sold it for like 15. I want to say it was about $15, right? Tommy peeled out that bankroll. He getting it. He has a job. Inside hustles, which we find out this episode, right? And he breaks off the bread, and Hustle Man throws him a personal pan pizza. See, that's on Tommy and Martin. You assume the pizza was big because of the carrying case, right? But no, that wasn't the case. See, Hustle Man's about $1. East side of Detroit, 7 Mile. He gonna get it by any means. And that wouldn't be the last time we would see him this episode. No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't. Yeah, because, y'all remember, y'all seen the show. Y'all already know. Like, I'm surprised you even watching this because you know already. Remember Martin and Gina, they on a stakeout? They trying to see what Tommy's into. Martin in the car eating a sandwich. Get a knock on that window. And you see my man, Courtney. I'm sorry, I apologize. Hustle Man. I apologize. Hustle Man, right? And he got some flowers. He's like, hey, I see y'all out here on a stakeout, Chief. And your fine lady, would she like some roses? And Gina falls for the swindle every time. It's like, yeah, I wouldn't mind some. It's like, yeah, she bought some. Gina wanted the yellow ones though. He was like, yeah, I got you, sweetie. What would he say? I got you, pudding. The secret is to put a little aspirin in the water. Makes the flowers, bloom a little longer. Hey, Courtney knew all the tricks, Courtney could sell he could sell water to a well. He's like the modern Jay-Z. You feel me? And Hustle Man got $8 out of Martin. Martin paid for him, and Gina was, she appreciated him. And they out there chilling. And a few moments later, Hustle Man doubles back. What's up, Chief? Would you like some tires? He like, dude, I just saw you, and I told you, I bought the flowers. I told you to keep it moving. Like, why would I need tires? You feel me? I'm out here, I have tires. It's like, I just thought I was trying to help you out, G. And Martin found out that he got jacked. We're not saying Courtney was involved in that. We're not saying that. But Courtney definitely had some similar tires to sell him. And Martin missed out on that deal. But that's neither here nor there, right? Because I know you guys remember season 3, episode 16. We talked about that on the Cole episode. When they took advantage of Cole and he went out and got the pizza and everything. That's infamous. Martin ain't want to pay the $15 $5 rent increase. He was back 3 months. He ain't want to pay the $15. You guys already know that. But this is a classic episode where we see my man Courtney once again dropping off family recipes. You guys remember this one, right? This is a classic one, right? You hear that knock at the door. It's my man, Hustle Man. And he has his special free-range chicken, for $15. And everybody's in there starving. They wouldn't mind, and he lets Gina know. Gina falls for the swindle every time. Martin's not going for it. Like, these are pigeons on a stick, man. But Gina's like, let's hear him out. And they do smell good. He was like, well, that's my special sauce, And he let us know, and we will have the recipe on here. Matter of fact, you guys can see the recipe right there. I ain't gonna leave it up there too long. But I'll give you guys, enough time to screenshot that and whatnot. Yeah, that's the actual recipe. And you gotta let it. That's from pork and bean juice. You guys heard it now. You guys watch the show. You do gotta let it marinate for 3 to 2 days. Just let it sit. Everybody knows that. And Gina, of course, asking, do you use honey? No, but honey is so passe. Everybody knows that. You gotta use molasses with this. Legendary. You see them? Delicious free range chickens. I've had the opportunity to have one of these things, and very, very, you're talking about juicy, great eats out Detroit. But let's get back on subject. Of course, Martin, turns him down. And Hustle Man, he gets his money. Like, well, I was just trying to help you out, G. It's cold in here, Chief, but you ain't pay your rent. And then walked off, like a G. He gonna get his money elsewhere. I'm sure Shanae bought one. I'm sure she did. On this episode, we also get to hear his slogan too. What is it? You want it, I got it. If I ain't got it, I'm gonna get it. So get it while the getting is. You gotta sniff twice. Good. You gotta sniff twice while you saying it. If you don't sniff, you ain't saying it right. Everybody know that though. This Courtney. This Courtney we talking about. And let's talk about this legendary episode, right? My man, y'all remember, right? Gina mother, of course, is Gina and Gina's mother. They're trying to plan out the wedding. You guys remember Gina's mom, right? That's Harriet Winslow on the last season of Family Matters that nobody watches, right? Nobody likes that, right? I know. They're all picking out the wedding decorations and whatnot. Then you got Miss Lewis, the wedding planner. You guys remember her. And she has this, elegant wedding plan for the Paynes. Well, Gina, the Waters, and the Paynes, I guess, right? They're going to combine on that particular day, right? And Martin's trying to save a little money, because it's coming out of his pocket. He's trying to save a little bread. And he hollers at my man Courtney, a.k.a., as you guys know him, Hustle Man. And Hustle Man has a elaborate spread. This is when Hustle Man was doing his wedding planning. Oh, man. I've actually had the opportunity to go to one of these events that Hustle Man did, and great wedding. But we can talk about the episode. Of course, Miss Lewis wanted the long stem red roses. Hustle Man offered the plastic flowers. They cheaper. They're not gonna die before you guys walk down the aisle, Chief. He had a video planned out, but it ended up being, one of them nudie videos, and Martin asked him, yeah, hold that tape for me, on the low. He was like, yeah, you should have, I got a case of these, Chief. Got a case of these back, at the warehouse. So, he dabbling in that world too. He's selling the tapes too. The flicks, as we like to call them. He's selling the flicks. This 94, he getting a pretty good penny off the VHS flicks. But let's get back to topic. Let's get back on the topic. I know you guys remember this part, right? Um, of course, Miss Lewis had the stuffed artichoke over the baby bib lettuce, and oh, classic, classic, classic. Courtney pulled out his mother's classic recipe, that chitlin loaf. Now, I've had the opportunity to eat this on several occasions. Delicious. I prefer mine with a little bit of Ritz. And I feel like this alone should have sold it right here. I don't know what's going on with the waters. You guys feel like you too good for some chitlin loaf on some crackers? Really? Like, really? This is Courtney. This is Hustle Man. Mama Hustle made that. And Martin, like, we can serve this on every table. They're going to get the hot sauce or the Tabasco, which I feel like is perfect. I thought that was a very good idea on Martin. And we find out, after Miss Lewis kirks off, we find out that Miss Lewis is charging $20K for this. And they was like, woo, that's a little steep now. That's steep. And Hustle Man like, oh, Martin, I can work with you. She's charging 20. I can do mine for $19K, Chief. And he tried, work Martin. He tried to get $1, man. Eastside of Detroit, 7 miles, stand up, man. And we hustle and get this money. Y'all know. Y'all already know. Y'all know. I'm doing the dance and all that. Y'all know. Hustle Man about that. About $1. And Martin, shot him down, of course. And it's all good, because Hustle Man hollered at Miss Lewis. Was like, we getting kicked out the house. But we need to talk about partnership, because that's one thing. He's about $1. He told her, like, I got some 40 ounces. I got a 40 ounce, actually. Some extra cups. Let's get down on this chitlin loaf. I got some crackers. Let's talk. Let's talk some business. And Miss Lewis was open to that. Hustle Man got the gift of gab. He's a salesman. Always has been, since he was selling hard. He can sell anything. Always making $1, man. But this Eastside Detroit, though. Everybody know that, though. I mean, we can go to season 4. We can go to season 4. When Martin already married and he at the gym, remember, working out. Poonhound Tommy and Cole. The most reliable man ever. And he working out, taking his ring off, seeing if he still got it, he pulling them and whatnot. And you guys remember, he loses his ring. At least he thought he lost his ring. Gina finds his ring in his workout clothes and whatnot. But in between that, he's in the barbershop, getting that fade touched up. Martin always stay with a nice fade and whatnot. And you see my man Courtney once again. It's actually the opening of this video. You see him once again. And he's letting them know, I got food stamps, I got incense. I even got a Greyhound bus out there in the parking lot. And my barber man, he like, yeah, what you mean? He like, look, don't be asking no questions, Chief. Don't be asking no questions. And it's all good, Cole like, what, you wouldn't be, by any chance have some wedding rings? He like, yeah. That's in the jewelry department, Chief. Pulls the rings out. They go through them. One looks exactly like Martin's. And Martin like, come on, man. You probably got some fake, I had that real. And Hustle Man got in his feelings. Courtney really was like, dang, man, how you gonna say, my products is bootleg? Like, I take pride in this. Man, I was selling hard out here when you was in high school. Like, I'm just out here trying to make an honest buck. Dang, do you want the ring or not? So Martin like, yeah, I'll take the ring. How much is it? 3 G's, Chief. Eastside of Detroit, 7 Mile. He about $1. He about $1 first. Y'all gotta remember that. He about $1 first now. Y'all be acting like y'all forgot. Martin was like, I'm not giving you $3,000, man. I give you $200. He was like, so, Chief. 7 Mile. Eastside. Hustle and get this money. Come on now. I'm just making it make sense. You know? Now, I mean, y'all want to talk about the opportunity that changed his life, right? I know. When he was managing Ice Pick, right? The Chihuahua. Well, a lot of people want to know, how did he even come up on that, right? I mean, of course I know. That's why you here. Now, the statute of limitations is already expired for this, I think. If it hasn't, I'm sorry, Courtney. I apologize. But I'm sure by now you can, well, if not, Google it. It was a famous dog show that happened around that time in Detroit. You look it up. And all those dogs went missing. Well, my man Courtney was around Detroit, and he had 7 different breeds of dogs. And one of them was a Chihuahua that just so happened to know how to rap. And Courtney like, oh, we can get Disney money off this. You know? So, like, yeah. Like I said, Barking with the 40. Barking with the 40, the platinum hit song. Everybody knows that, man. Come on, this is Ice Pick, the rapping Chihuahua. And y'all know, we've talked about this on the Cole episode. You know, Cole turned down Charles Barkley. Martin had to get my man Stoney Jackson. And then Ice Pick. You know, y'all want to see the dance? Let's play the dance. And we not about to play like Courtney wasn't doing his job. He was doing a great job managing Ice Pick. A great job. They had just did the remix for KC and the Sunshine Band. Ice Pick had just gotten off tour. He had pet leg. That's why he couldn't rap on the show. He almost went back to the pound. It was sad when Ice Pick fired my man Courtney. Started messing with them gold stains, you know. Thought he could just make more money. You know, fired the brother man. Or in this case, the hustle man. You know, and it's sad. It's sad. But, you know, We'll touch on that at the end. Nonetheless, he also mentioned that he had the cockroach, remember? That could pop lock better than rerun. And he had the flea that could moonwalk. So, he had other animals, right? And the cockroach could pop lock. I saw the cockroach. I never saw the flea personally. Now, to say that Jimmy the Cockroach pop locks better than rerun, that's a little crazy, and I won't say that. So he might have been exaggerating with that one now. But yeah, so you know, the last episode that we see him on is season 4, episode 24, when Martin, you know, Pam's cousin comes in town out of nowhere and she can sing. And Martin meets up with like this Johnny Gill looking dude. Like, he reminds me of Nick Anderson off of Orlando Magic. You know, we've never seen this guy, but Martin is just playing manager now, right? Now, you know, like, yeah, you ain't know I was a music manager? Yeah, you know. And this is his man. He looks like a slot receiver. of the time, like a slot in NFL 1994 slot receiver. I forgot how Yancey Thingpen looks, but I'm sure this guy looks like him. How about that? And we see my man Courtney pop in. And this is a classic one too, right? He got the sax playing that hit song. Pick up the pieces. Y'all remember? Y'all remember that? Y'all remember that? Y'all remember that? Classic. Now, if I left out something, let me know in the comments. But I'm sure those are the only times we saw my man Courtney on that show, right? And I know y'all want to know, well, what happened to him after the show? What happened to him after the show and all that, right? And it's funny because I still see my man and whatnot. Whenever I'm in Detroit, you know, I touch down, holler at him and whatnot. And he's always at the Pistons games. You know, always at the Pistons games. And for those who don't know, or who don't remember, Courtney sued Ice Pick, the rapping Chihuahua, and got a nice chunk of them royalties. You know, a nice chunk of them royalties, man. Because Ice Pick did him dirty. You know, and what we didn't know was Hustle Man was writing a couple of them songs off Barking with the 40. You know, that classic platinum album. He wrote a couple of them Jones. So, yeah, he's doing pretty good. Now, he don't have to sell the chitlin loaf and everything. Like, he don't have to do that no more. He's doing very well, you know. I mean, granted, now he did almost OD on a chitlin loaf, and he had a mild stroke. But and you guys see him right there. But he's gotten better since that. And he's doing excellent, you know. This is Courtney Gibbs, aka, as y'all know him, Hustle Man. You know, Randumb Rants, man. Like and subscribe, man.
Pick up the pieces.